3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? It's Ash on Comics. I'm Ash, and here is today's comic. This is Daredevil 21. I have to say, I gotta eat some words here, eat a little bit of crow. I'm usually a big proponent of having the artist who does the book, the interior art of the book, to also do the cover. You know, unless the art really sucks on the interior, I guess, maybe you get... But especially if you got a good artist like MARCO CHECCHETTO, the guy who does the cover art here and the interior of the book. I normally am like, yeah, argue big, you need to have him. But with Daredevil, they kind of convinced me to accept the opposite. I have been really enjoying the Daredevil covers from issues 1 through 20. They're sort of like painted covers. You remember them if you've been paying attention at all. One of the things I like is it's the same artist issue after issue, and it brought a lot of uniformity to the run. Now, this particular comic, now issue 21, has CHECCHETTO art, and it feels like it's, I don't know, like my OCD is kicking in, and I'm like, what? It's not the same cover, I feel. And now I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes you get what you ask for. No, this is a good cover. I like this. I wish every book was just the CHECCHETTO cover so I could have that uniform deal. Anyway, so this is issue 21. I'm going to try to do a quick review. I'm already in the weeds. I've already wasted several minutes, I'm sure. Truth or Dare Part 1. Daredevil's in custody. So I'm not going to really, since this is just a review, I'm not going to talk too much about the plot and what's been going on. This is up to you. You can pause and read the little background if you want. Suffice it to say, it was a good issue. I mean, every issue is good. This is a book that's just consistent. You don't even really need to watch reviews of the book. You just know pretty much every month, issue after issue, you're getting at least a 4-star book. It's just great. Some people going a little crazy and saying that this run is comparable to Frank Miller's Daredevil run. I think that's a little bit of like, just, you know, that was like 30 years ago. You're forgetting, like, it's so far in the past. I don't remember the greatness. But whatever. Even that comparison is just the fact that people are discussing that signifies how good this book is. My one complaint about this book is that I felt that CHECCHETTO's art was a little bit phoned in. I've been reading his book that he did with Ethan Sachs, Old Man Hawkeye, and I didn't really know who CHECCHETTO was when that book came out, so now I'm kind of discovering it for the first time, and I'm like, wow, this art's really good. Like, and I've liked CHECCHETTO on Daredevil. I think he's great, but this doesn't feel like his best stuff. And one of the things I'm noticing that he does, I don't know if quite cleverly, is look at each panel has sort of this sort of just speckled, just bland, background. There's no detail, now the city's on fire sort of thing. So you can kind of get away with like, oh, it's setting the mood, but that took, 2 seconds to do. It probably had the colorist do it. And it's just panel after panel. There's nothing in the backgrounds. And it's just a bunch of headshots, from shoulders up. So this is what I call kind of cheating. It's good for the artist because it's less labor intensive. They get to spend more time with their family. But as a fan, like, I'm paying $4 a comic. I want the good stuff, and I'm spoiled. This is not CHECCHETTO's best stuff, and maybe it's just because ZDARSKY, his script didn't give him much to really do. But I really want some of these. Man, if you go Old Man Hawkeye, there's just splash page after splash page of just gorgeous shots, full of detail and everything. And this just feels a lot of like, Just frame, just simple. Now, there's a cool scene in this book. This is probably one of the best scenes, was interaction with Spider-Man. This marks Spider-Man's third overall appearance in the Daredevil line. I think it's like more books, but like sometimes his appearance would cover 2 books or whatever, but third time that he's reappeared, once with Daredevil, once with Detective Cole, and now back with Daredevil. And the first time kind of kicked off the storyline with Spider-Man basically being like, yo, dude, you've gone too far. You're reckless. You're too dangerous to be doing the superhero thing. Call it quits. This time, because Daredevil had to put on the suit again, well, not technically, but he had to be Daredevil again to save the city. Spider-Man's like, yo, dude, what did I tell you? And some people have been struck a little odd with this. Like, it doesn't feel like Spider-Man's in character. But I don't necessarily feel like it is. Especially if this is supposed to be the older Peter Parker. The Peter Parker that, has been a CEO of his company. This isn't 16-year-old Spider-Man anymore. And I actually kind of like it. What I really like, though, is how Daredevil has changed through this story. In the beginning, Daredevil was kind of like, yeah, you're right, Spider-Man. I'm and just kowtows to Spider-Man. This time, though, you get this really cool interaction. Spider-Man says, I told you if you put it on again, I'd be back. They're unwavering, committed. I'm taking you in. You weren't here, says Daredevil. Spider-Man's like, what are you do? Daredevil's taking off his pants. Hell's Kitchen was on fire. I saved it. And you're too late again. I'm already turning myself in. You're here for nothing. I don't. Stop. He's just like dressing, like ignoring Spider-Man. And this is a cool shot. Like Spider-Man points. I told you to stop being Daredevil. You can still help people, but in costume, you're going to ruin it for everyone. Why are you? I'm turning myself in, again, Daredevil says. But I'm Daredevil, and you're not my moral authority. You've put as many people in the hospital as any of us, and I don't see you being fingerprinted. Daredevil's just like strapping up. Now get the fuck out of my home before I call the cops. And Spider-Man just dumbfounded, like, you can't be serious. His muscles tighten, his heart rate rises, his breathing is steady. He's prepared for something. He's preparing. But I'm prepared. You broke in. You entered. You're a criminal. Come on, you bastard. Do the smart thing. You're a real piece of work. If you're lying to me, I'll be back. Spider-Man hops out the ceiling. And that was just a really cool scene. I really liked it. Now, there's more context to the whole book and the series and stuff. So just reading that out of the blue may not come across as great as I take it. Here we get In Memoriam, rest in peace, Denny O'Neil. DC and Marvel are both doing this. That's nice of them. Back to the comic. So Daredevil, he's like, thank God. I don't know how much of a fight I had left in me. And so that's the end of that scene altercation with Spider-Man. So Daredevil's now going to turn himself in. And that's the whole crux of this book. I'm not going to really spoil what happens. I really urge you to pick up this book and read it. Get the whole series. If you don't want to go back and get the back issues, which, by the way, they're not expensive. You should be able to get them cheap. It's a great series to have. You got, like I said, you get those great covers, all that uniformity. It's consistent. This is the best book at Marvel, in my opinion. Real Dr. Venkman, who's kind of a personality, doesn't really do his own channel, but he guests on everyone else's channel. He's a cool guy. He made a comment about this book and said that it kind of felt like a downer for him after the last issue. And I was on a stream with him. We talked about this. I said, this book that's a fair evaluation, because the last issue, issue 20, was a big finale issue, right? Kind of bringing to head the whole story thus far from issue 1. and you get this big, massive 2-part finale, a big fight with a bunch of villains. So that's over. So naturally, it's going to starting a new story. Things are going to be a little bit slow, and you're going to have the setup. So you're not going to have that. But I tell you what, this is a really good setup. It throws some interesting things. Daredevil's turning himself into the police. And so that makes you think, wait a second, how's that going to work? Is he going to reveal his identity? How are they going to, like, try him, go to jail? Like, how's this going to work? Like, and it works. Like, ZDARSKY's writing a story that takes a little bit of suspension of disbelief, but not a whole lot. And I'm really enjoying it. And the usual cast of characters is there. Cole North, who's one of my favorite new characters in comics. I didn't like him at first. I was like, oh God, this guy's so cliche and dumb. But ZDARSKY took him on a great character arc and has made this guy a huge supporting character. I hope he stays in Daredevil for years to come. He really has made that big of an impact for me. And that's a hard thing to do, to make a new supporting character for a comic book that's been around for, 40, 50 years. That's difficult. I like the character. He's cool. Foggy Nelson. You've got, Kingpin's got a story arc going on. Not so much in this issue, but Elektra's been an appearance. All the cast of characters are doing things, and it's interesting. And like I said, I just recommend. I feel like I just can just record, rinse and repeat. Here's Daredevil. It's another 4-star book. Go buy it. But that's my review.